Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner on this final Saturday of August, and it's time to get our 2017-18 season for Coach's Corner underway, and it's good to be back, and it's also bad to be back. I enjoyed my couple of months off, but it's also good to get back to work, which means that the sports seasons locally have started, and of course football has a very soft place in my heart, and happy to see the football season get started. Of course, volleyball also got underway, and we'll start talking about what happened yesterday. Let's start with Rainy River Community College volleyball. They were in Fergus Falls to open their season with a pair of matches. The Voyagers played Anoka Ramsey out of the Southern Division in the first match, and they swept the Rams 27-25, 25-18, 25-19. The second match last night was against Northern Division rival Itasca, and that match would go the distance, all 5 sets with Rainy River prevailing. The set scores were 25-15, 19-25, 25-17, 18-25, and finally 15-8 in set 5 as the Voyagers win their first 2 matches of the year. They got 2 more matches today out in Fergus Falls. In their first match at 9:30 a.m., they take on Bismarck State, and then they play the host Fergus Falls at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So I have no individual stats from the matches. They got done late last night, and Coach Miller unable to compile all the stats, but I'm sure on Monday morning, listen to Preston and we'll have all the stats for you on Monday morning. Of course, locally, the Bass Championship going on yesterday afternoon. The weigh-in yesterday afternoon, of course, the fishing going on all day on the lake, and a couple of guys out on the river. And what a day for the team number 4 of Jeff Gustafson and Scott Dingwall. They set a brand new all-time record for one day, 21.7 pounds. Now remember, the all-time record last year set at 36 something pounds. So they're just an average day maybe away from setting the all-time 2-day record, as they have a weight advantage now going into day 2 of 2.34 pounds, as locals Jake Rule and Charlie Leduc, they sit in second at 19.36 pounds. Dan Tucker and Jason Kane out of Port Francis, they're in third at 18.70 pounds. Bill Gooden and Norm Lindsay, 18.4 pounds, they sit in 4th place. Kelvin McKay and Dan Fontenot sit at 5th place with 17.83 pounds, and they came in with the big fish yesterday, 5.63 pounds in a largemouth bass. That is an awesome fish, and they had the big fish yesterday. Travis Peterson and Craig Peterson sit in 6th place with 16.63 pounds. Chad Buddy and Scott Thompson sit in 8th. Excuse me, I missed 6th place. That was 7th place for the Peterson boys. John Belaski and Eric Olson, another local pair, they sit in 6th place with 17.07 pounds. Chad Buddy and Scott Thompson, they sit in 8th with 15.89 pounds. They are tied with John Januzik and Brandon Cizik. And then sitting in 10th place, Matt Goldamer and Chad Reynolds in 10th with 15.76. Local guys, Jacob Hyde and Walker Wagner sitting in 11th at 15.71. Some high school sports going on last night around the area. Let's start with volleyball. Grand Rapids over Andover. Good start for Grand Rapids. High expectations for the Grand Rapids volleyball team in Section 7-3A. They sweep Andover. Proctor also downs Hibbing in 4 sets. Last night, 5 football games across the state. One of really of local interest. 2 Harbors takes care of Crosby, 35-6. Never looked like the Agates were threatened at home last night. War Road takes down Lake Park Audubon 7-6. Fertile Beltrami over Badger Greenbush Middle River 42-8. Red Lake and Fosston, they played a tight one 22-20. And Ada Borup Norman County West 43, Hope County West 0 in a 9-man game. That if you were listening on Thursday night to the broadcast, I had a chance to talk to John Millay from the Minnesota State High School League. He was here and then went out to Ada last night, and they treated him, as I was looking at the tweets, they treated him like gold. They even gave him a gallon of nacho cheese, which is his favorite thing to have at any game. The Minnesota Twins, let's move on. They got their first win in Toronto last night in more than 2 years as they defeated the Blue Jays 6-1. Martolo Colon got the win on the mound as he scattered 9 hits in 6 2/3 innings, just allowed just the 1 run. Joe Mauer, Byron Buxton, and Jorge Polanco each had 3 hits for the Twins. Game 2 of the 3-game series today at 12:07, pregame at 11:30 on K104. Going for the Twins is right-hander Dylan Gee with his 1-0 record. He will face Marco Estrada from the Blue Jays. The Minnesota Lynx got their win streak extended to 2 games with an 89-70 win over San Antonio in Texas. They moved that game up to try to avoid the hurricane a little bit so they could get out of town and get to L.A. Maya Moore, 24 points. Natasha Howard had 11, and Planette Pearson and Gia Perkins each had 10 points apiece for Minnesota. The Lynx now travel to Los Angeles for a Sunday evening game. It's pretty much going to decide who's going to get the advantage in the playoffs, which are coming up just a couple of weeks away. The Lynx have just 4 games remaining in their season. The University of Minnesota volleyball team, which made a great run to the Final Four last year, they were ranked number 4 going into the season this year, and they get a 3-0 win over number 11 North Carolina last night in Madison, Wisconsin. They take on Louisville this afternoon in Madison in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. What's going on locally today? Well, I mentioned Rainy River Volleyball, a couple of matches out at Fergus Falls. Of course, the Bass Championship, the weigh-in will start right around 4:15. That's what time our coverage will start on K104. You can follow it from start to finish for the entire coverage. If you can't make it down for the live weigh-in, the Minnesota Loons out of the MLS, they are in Chicago for a 7:30 match tonight. Tomorrow, the Twins wrap up the 3-game series with Toronto. Again, the game starts at 12:07, pre-game at 11:30 on K104. I mentioned that the Lynx are in LA tomorrow night for a 6 o'clock game. And the Vikings, they'll be on national TV tomorrow with their third preseason game. They are at home against the San Francisco 49ers at 7 o'clock. Pre-game starts at 6 o'clock on K104. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with the head coach of the International Falls Broncos football team, John Franke. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.
Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner for our second segment. I'm joined by head coach of the International Falls Broncos football team, John Franke. And Coach, we were just talking here during the break about the game, obviously from Thursday night, the 29-6 loss to Virginia. Talk a little bit about just your impressions of game one, just defense, offense, everything that you saw with the kids. What was good? Maybe what are some things that you're saying we can work on them and we're going to get better for game two?
Well, I just think the overall flow of the game, being our first game, a lot of us are new coaches, just kind of
feeling your way through,
getting the flow going. I think we came out really strong and started moving the ball. And, we had a short down there where we tried a wedge that didn't work, and which really surprised me because it had been working through the scrimmage and in practice flawlessly. But they did have some big boys up front. And, we got stopped, and then, but we had some really good things happen. Travis Kaler had an outstanding game. He was coming from the backside, linebacker making tackles. He has really quick closing speed. He really does. And, so that was a huge help, obviously. Just some mistakes mental mistakes where we're, maybe a missed assignment, a missed block. And let's face it, sometimes that could make all the difference, from busting a big play or having a turnover. I was really impressed with Brant Johnson. He was a workhorse down there. He had a big boy in Kennedy most of the times he was going out on. And he really handled them well, I thought. For the most part, Kennedy wasn't a huge factor in the game. But I would guess Kennedy probably had 150 pounds on Brant, and, of course, about a foot of height. But he just kept grinding.
I was talking with people yesterday, and obviously they were asking me what I thought I saw and everything else. And the thing that I felt was the Broncos had the first quarter. The first quarter was the Broncos. I think you guys had the edge. At some point, I might have used the word dominated at some points because I felt like we were doing things. I would say the second quarter was a stalemate, and then the third and fourth quarter went to Virginia. And
correct.
I kind of saw it as maybe with the injuries to Strapko and to Budrus, and we'll talk about a little bit more about those injuries in a minute. And then, did you just kind of feel like they wore you down in the third and fourth quarter, or am I seeing it, or did you see it a different way, I guess?
No, I think we had plenty of gas in the tank left for those third and fourth quarters. I wasn't worried at all going into halftime. It was only down by
8-0.
8-0. That's not a big deal. But we were, I think we would have been just fine. But again, once you start making turnovers and they capitalize, that momentum seems to kind of switch.
Sure.
And I don't really think it was for lack of being in shape or anything like that. But mental errors kind of started to compound themselves.
Well, I'll compliment the defense because you guys had a fumble in the second quarter. They got the ball on about the 24-yard line, if I remember right from watching the film this morning, and you guys held in.
Yes.
Didn't give up. Matter of fact, you got the big sack. I think a loss of about 29 yards, and then in the in the fourth quarter, you guys threw the one interception that Taylor Wilson threw, and you guys, if I remember right, stood up fairly well in that defensive stand. So maybe the turnovers didn't hurt you so much, but it took away more of the momentum and those kinds of things. Go ahead.
I think at one time we had them like 3rd and 45 or something.
Yeah.
So there you go. We had good things happen on defense also, and definitely some kids that stepped up with all the injuries that we had. And we'll have to see how those injuries shake out.
Well, let's talk about those. Where I heard that Tanner Budrus, a broken foot. That's what I heard last night when I was at the weigh-in.
Correct. I was told he has three small fractures in his foot, so he's definitely going to be out. We're kind of waiting to see how Strapko's knee is going to turn out. He was still limping a little bit yesterday, but when we had film. But we'll just have to see how that shakes out over the weekend. Obviously, just resting that up. White Amdahl has got a little bit of something going on with his leg.
Okay.
Of course, he's our extra point kicker, so that's a problem.
Absolutely.
And also, on defense when he plays. But again, we'll just have to see how it shakes out as far as the injuries go. But losing Strapko would be huge, so I'm hoping we can get him back.
Barrios cramps. We were speculating upstairs.
Oh yeah, we're going to be changing Mr. Barrios' diet.
And that's one of those things that you as a kid you need to learn sometimes the hard way
yeah.
to do that. And then Garrett Kading was the other one, but he looked like he came back well in the fourth quarter. Didn't look any worse for wear on his little bang up with his knee.
No, I think he ended up okay. And again, it's just the kids need to realize they need to hydrate. And even though it wasn't a hot night or anything like that, they're still sweating a lot. And
absolutely. I want to talk about the penalties. I thought Virginia took an extreme amount of penalties. It ended up being 10 for the game. You guys only had 2, and one of them was the horse collar tackle on McRoberts. I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the horse collar rule? Good rule, bad rule?
No, I think it's a good rule. It really, it's those tackles can sometimes, put the person being tackled in kind of a awkward position.
Sure.
But then again, it's one of those when you're reaching for someone, it's not necessarily intentional, but
right.
Let's face it, if you get your hand on it and they see it, they're going to call it. So.
Absolutely. I thought there was a couple other ones where you guys were grabbing the jerseys that you almost could have got called on as well. If the guy would have ended up being thrown to the ground. Is that something that's concerning you, that guys are reaching out and grabbing rather than wrapping up?
Yeah, we need to work on wrapping up, definitely, with a few of them.
Sure.
We definitely have kids, like watching the tape yesterday. Travis Killer, he comes in and takes out their ankles every single time. Well, that's how you're supposed to tackle, take your legs away. And, Anthony Sari is a very good open field tackler. And he
let's talk about him. A kid who didn't get to see much action last year. Now he's out there as the free safety, kind of being the quarterback of the secondary. Talk about his efforts in game 1 and how he stepped up in that role.
Yeah, he did step up. But honestly, from what we've seen in practice, it didn't surprise me at all. Anthony has always been a very good open field tackler. He reads the offense fairly well, and he's obviously a younger player, but he steps up there and does a really good job for us.
Next week we've got Proctor coming up on the road, first road game of the year. So talk a little bit. Obviously, it'll be Proctor's first game. Proctor's been running the same stuff now for the last 4 or 5 years. Guys feel like you got a good game plan going in against what they try to do offensively.
Yeah, I think they're going to be tough. We know that. They always are. But we're just going to go in there and clean up our mistakes and execute and see what happens.
You guys had been playing a lot of odd front with a nose guard going into the game. What I watched on the scrimmages and everything, and then you guys played a lot of even front, two tackles, and that was because of what Virginia was running. Do you feel like that is something that you want to try to continue to hang your hat as in the 4-4 front, or is it something more where you want to go back to that 3-3 or 3-5 or 53 look?
Well, I think the thing that got us a lot up the middle was when our quarterback went into that shotgun.
It was very effective against us last year.
Yes, and we saw that, and he was very effective from back there. But you knew what he was going to do. If he's in the shotgun, 9 times out of 10, he was going to run.
Absolutely.
And like I said, a lot of times Travis Kaler was getting them from the backside. We want that strong side to get them first if we can. And, we're just going to have to adjust for that, obviously, when we play them in Game 8 and be ready for them.
What do you try to do maybe offensively this week, change things up? Do you see adding in a lot more plays, or is it something where you're thinking maybe we're going to keep things what we've done and we're just going to try to perfect those things that we've been doing?
I think for the most part we're going to stick with what we've been doing because I believe that if we just clean up a few little errors, it will come together because we've seen it work. We had a great scrimmage against Crosby Ironton, and everything was clicking fine. But it's a scrimmage, different than game time. And when it comes to the game time, we had a few just missed blocking assignments, and start cutting to the hole a little better. I think it'll come around, and for some of the players, just a little more effort and not taking plays off, and we'll be fine.
Big game maybe on the schedule. You got Proctor and then Aiken, Moose Lake, Willow River, Greenway, and the guys get a week off, and then Two Harbors, Eveleth, Gilbert, and then Virginia again. Is there one game, and I know you're not supposed to look past the next game, Proctor's the next big game, but is there kind of a game out there that is maybe you're looking as is going to be a measuring stick for this team? Is there a game out there that says we come out and we get a win here or we perform really well, we'll know that we're getting things accomplished?
Yeah, Proctor will be, an indicator of that. Moose Lake's going to be a good game also. But again, as long as we clean up those things, we could beat any team, I think. But it's got to all be clicking on all 8 cylinders. And
what do you feel about the week off in the middle of the season? A good thing or a bad thing?
I actually like it coming into. It's going to lead us into our homecoming game, and I guess I like it simply for that fact. We're gonna have an extra week, maybe a little more rest time.
I know you guys have to take some time off in there because of the bye week and everything. I think you guys have to take a couple of days off in there because of the rules.
The rules, yes.
The rules. Is that something where you guys kind of sit down and you do more, maybe some mental things, try to maybe watch a little more film, do those kinds of things? Have you not even looked that far ahead? Because
no, I thought a little bit about it, and definitely take some more film time because they do kind of limit on a bye week how many days you can practice,
sure.
and on what days you can practice. We're working on a community event, possibly for that Thursday or Friday night.
Sure.
And I think we might even have a JV game either that Thursday or Friday night. But then after the game, we're going to try to have kind of a community tailgating, invite the young kids out, maybe play some touch football or something like that, and just even though we don't have a Friday night game that week, we'll try to still have a little bit of an event and get the community out and have the the varsity players mingle with little kids, and I think it'll be a cool deal.
And I'm sure the coaching staff will be someplace Friday night, probably scouting somebody. I would bet that. I know that's where I would be if I'd want to be all watching Two Harbors or getting a view of somebody. Did you guys go to Two Harbors last night? Did you guys send anybody to Two Harbors last night?
No, we did not. No,
okay.
No, we came in yesterday, 8 o'clock in the morning, right away. Watched film for 2.5 hours, and
sent the kids on their way.
The kids on their way, and kind of give them the rest of the weekend here with everything going on, the bass tournament and whatnot, to just kind of, not only relax, but of course with the amount of kids that we had with injuries, just kind of heal up. And
Coach, appreciate you coming in. We'll see you on Wednesday afternoon, evening. We'll get that pregame interview taped up. All right.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Coach John Fromke joining me here. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with a couple of seniors from this year's Bronco volleyball team. You're listening to Coach's Corner live on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Segment and joined by seniors Jenna Sullivan and Bianca Carlson, and we were hashing over Thursday's night's sweep at Two Harbors. And Bianca, I'll start with you because you're kind of that middle person. You got to receive the pass and you got to set it up to get the job done. How do you think the Broncos played on Thursday night?
I feel like the passes really improved from our last jamboree on Monday, and the hitters really killed it that night. It was a lot of fun just kind of seeing us all get put together, and we actually found our click, and it really went well.
I'm going to take a peek at your microphone here because we'll test that again. Try that again.
Okay.
No, we're gonna make you switch.
Okay.
Because that one apparently isn't doing what I'd like it to do. So, all right, let me see. Try that again.
All right.
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, I feel like the passes went a lot better than they did on Monday at our jamboree, because that was also our first time playing together.
Sure.
The hitters really improved themselves from the 2 days of practice that we had right before our game, and then I feel like our whole team just kind of came together that night, and we just kind of got a click. And
there's a lot of seniors on this team, Jenna. Where are the expectations at with this team? What kind of goals have you guys set for yourself going into this 2017 season?
Well, each year we start out by listing our 10 goals. We have 5 short-term, and then we usually have 10 long-term goals. And I think one of our big ones was win over 75% of our games, and just some serving goals, just no miss serves, stuff like that. I don't know. I think our expectations are kind of high, but I don't know. We're gonna roll with it.
Talk a little bit about the team. Who's out there? Who maybe was the starting? Well, we'll call it 7 because I know there's only 6, but with the libero, the coaches always give me 7. So besides you two, I'm let me guess here. And you guys, I'm gonna say Bailey Millette,
Yeah.
Emma Gilbert, you two. Goulet was the libero.
I think it was Sarah Caulfield and Tennyson Amdahl.
Okay. So a good start. Who's coming up off the bench? Who comes in off the bench and played a crucial role maybe on Thursday night?
I feel like Brittany really came together that night. She really stepped it up coming off and passing for the back row.
Brittany Foss?
Yes.
Sure. And it seemed like from one of the scores that I got that things were cruising right along. 25, I got to look. 25-9, was that the score of the first set? 25-9, 25-15, 25-21. When you get a start like that for the first set, Jen, at 25-9, you're kind of got to be going, this is really nice.
Yeah, you're kind of what's going on? You're you're just you're anticipating what's going to happen next. You're expecting them to come out stronger. Maybe it's just a flaw. Maybe, but it ended up going good.
What did you feel maybe was working so well for the Broncos in that first set?
I think our communication was super key. Everybody was talking. Our passers were calling out where our hitters should swing. Tia Goulet was doing an excellent job at telling me especially where to hit.
Is that okay? So I know communication is so key, not just about who's taking the pass as a defender, but all that other stuff. Is that something that you guys have kind of made a focus for this year, or is this something that just seems like it's clicking, Bianca?
Well, it wasn't really our focus at first until someone said something about it, and then it just kind of, like I said, we kind of found that click. I don't know, it just, it's really coming together this year, and I feel like we're all just kind of, understanding each other more, we have a better attitude about things that we do, and we just, it's almost like reading each other's minds, we know, how to, come together when there's a situation going on.
That makes for lots of confidence. Let's talk about this upcoming week. You guys got your first 2 home matches coming up this week. Northwoods, a game that we'll have on the air on K104 and rjbroadcasting.com. And then Mountain Iron Buell, thank you. Nice job, Jenny. You had the answer. 2 home matches against, I have a feeling that Jenna, you maybe have something with MIB that you'd like to, put a little clench hold on them.
I kind of think we all do.
All do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Monarch's
So-
kind of the team to beat.
Yeah.
In everything?
everything.
In everything. Okay, well, that's a fair enough. So let's start with Northwoods. What do you guys know anything about Northwoods? Did you see them in the scrimmage? Those kinds of things.
We didn't see them in the scrimmage this year. Last year, I think they were.
They were pretty decent. We took it to 4 games last year.
Yeah.
I know we kind of started out really strong, and then I kind of think we got like overconfident, and then they came back at us. So, but I know they lost quite a few seniors this year. I know their setter. I think she's gone now, and she was kind of a tricky reader.
Okay, how about MIB? What do they bring to the table on Thursday night at home as well?
I'm not 100% sure at what they're bringing out this year, but I know MIB is just full of really good athletes. So
It's always different with them, though. I mean, last year we went to 5 games. It was like really close. But
And obviously, a 5-set match is something that is exciting. Do you guys try to do something, because you guys have been playing volleyball forever, is there something that you do differently in set 5 versus the first 4 sets to try to either keep yourself calm, or because, I mean, you're only playing to 15 rather than 25, does it take on a different mindset with you guys, or is it something where you just keep playing?
For sure, like we definitely have like a different mindset. I feel like we're all more like focused, and then we all like, I don't know like if it's just me, but I always like try to like take a breath, and then I try to get other people to, and I just like basically tell them just like take it easy and just give it your all, and just know what you're doing on the court, and don't get frustrated. That's another one.
Is it different if you've won set 4 versus having lost set 4? I mean, is there a different mindset going into the 5th set, if that's the case, Jenna? You're shaking your head.
Definitely. Well, I mean, there's 10 less points,
Yeah.
so it's like you gotta get it done. You gotta get it done right away.
So the schedule, I'm sure you guys have looked beyond, and you maybe don't know the specific dates, but obviously early in the season, and the first time I have a team on, I always like to ask the kids, who's out there that you really want to play? Who is out there that you really want to beat? Who is it? What's the big matchup during the year that you're looking forward to?
Virginia.
Virginia?
I really want to play Virginia this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Why? Why?
Just because, like, it's always been a competition with them. And plus, in playoffs last year, I really, really want to come back with them this year.
Jenny, you agree?
Yeah, I would have to agree with Bianca. Playoffs were tough that last year because we lost in, what was it, 5?
5, I
We
believe.
lost
Yeah.
in 5, but we played our hearts out. Like, that
Yeah, we
was the
did.
best game I've seen us play.
And I have to admit, I was there, and I remember it, and it seemed like you guys were in control of it, and somehow
Just lost it.
things just slipped away. Is there another team out there, or 2 teams that you kind of it kind of sets the bar and says, look, here, if we can play with this team, we're going to be sitting okay in the section?
Besides MIB and Virginia.
Yeah.
How about Greenway? Because
Oh.
Greenway always sits out
so
there.
that's the thing.
I mean, Greenway always sits out to me there as a measuring stick. And not that Greenway has always won the Section 7 2A, but they always seem to be a factor. What is it about Greenway that makes them so effective?
Well, okay, they're very, like, they have a lot of knowledge of what they're doing. Like, I played with them this spring during JO season, and I actually learned a lot from them. But they always have a plan, but, like as soon as you catch on, you'll understand. But it's always, like, they always have something to do. Like, they always have a plan of what they're doing.
Okay. How about Hibbing? Hibbing's another one that always sits in my... Not so much with Hibbing, not so much of a rivalry with them? Jenna?
I don't think as much as Virginia or Greenway, but I mean they're definitely competition, you know.
How about that team down the road? How about September 21st? Have you got that date circled yet? Because I do. Yeah, Little Fork Big Falls. Where does that rivalry rate in your guys' minds? I'm going to give Little Fork Big Falls some bulletin board material. You guys, they're going to be on in a couple weeks, so we'll let them fire back the other way. But we'll let you guys put the first volley out there about playing Little Fork Big Falls on the 21st. Anything?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's in their gym, so.
Is that well, I'll say it this way, is that better or worse? Does it playing on the road focus you guys a little bit more versus maybe at home when you're kind of comfortable and everything is supposed to be the right way?
To be honest, I feel like out of town games, like, they're less like nerve wracking.
Okay.
I would agree. Little Fork definitely has a lot of fans, and so it's definitely going to be a orange and black gym that night. But it's always fun getting to go down there and play. We've played with these girls forever, so
It's nice though because it's a short road trip, so like we have a lot of people coming for us too.
not too jet lagged.
Jet lag, wow. Who knew we had gone professional as quickly as we have? Well, ladies, I appreciate you coming in on a Saturday morning. Wish you best of luck. We'll see you on Wednesday for Wednesday night's matchup against Northwoods, and hopefully we'll have you guys on late September, early October, and we'll be talking about a very successful 2017 so far.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Bianca Carlson and Jenna Sullivan joining me here this morning. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll wrap it up here from Hardee's. You're listening to Coach's Corner on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Coach's Corner for our final segment. Big thanks to John Fromke from the Bronco football team and also to Jenna Sullivan and Bianca Carlson for being our guests here this morning. And let's talk about the week that was. It was, of course, with it being the first week of the season, very, very short. Nothing going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But Thursday, we just got done talking with the Bronco volleyball team. They were the first team to get underway this year as they were on the road at Two Harbors. The girls controlled the match early, as you probably were just listening. They took down the Agates 25-9, 25-15, 25-21. Senior Jenna Sullivan, who's one of our guests here, she led the way with 14 kills and 5 blocks. Senior Bailey Millette added 5 kills and 2 blocks, as did senior Emma Gilbert. She also had 5 kills. Senior setter Bianca Carlson had a big night with 30 set assists, 2 blocks, and 2 ace serves. Libero Tia Goulet had 17 digs. The Bronco football team, they opened up at home on Thursday night, as we talked about in our second segment, against longtime rival Virginia. The game was scoreless after a quarter, and the Broncos were driving before they stalled out at the 10-yard line. And then 3 plays later, an 80-yard touchdown pass gave Virginia the lead 8-0 at halftime. The Blue Devils would come out, take the opening kickoff, drive the length of the field, score to move it up to 16-0, and then they scored on the first play of the fourth quarter to make it 22-0. After the ensuing kickoff, the Broncos a 63-yard touchdown pass from Taylor Wilson to Travis Kaler, and they cut the gap to 22-6. However, the Blue Devils would answer right back after that touchdown to make it 29-6, and that is how the game would end. The Broncos were led in rushing by Armando Barrios, and for some reason I misplaced the wrong page, but I remember he had 10 carries for 73 yards. Also, London Rasmussen, 13 carries for 46 yards in the rushing department. And then in the passing department, Taylor Wilson, 3 for 5 for 76 yards. Of course, 63 of that coming to Travis Kaler on that touchdown pass. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings volleyball team also got their season underway on Thursday night as they hosted Mesabi East. The Giants dominated set 1, 25-14, but the Vikings came right back and took the set 2 by a score of 25-19. LBF had leads midway through both sets 3 and set 4, but couldn't hang on and lost those 2 sets 25-23, 25-21, so dropped the match 3-1. Senior Emily Franz, 7 kills, a couple of blocks. Danielle Pekarski, 6 kills and 2 blocks. Danica Clemenson, she had 15 set assists. Kenzie Swenson, 13 digs. And Emily Fairchild, what a great day serving for her. She had 6 ace serves. And we will have LBF volleyball on Tuesday, September 5th. Home match for them. And we will have that one for you on K104 and at rjbroadcasting.com. The Rainy River volleyball team got their season started yesterday, and they swept a pair of matches. They downed Anoka Ramsey 3-0, and they also got the better of Northern Division rival Itasca in 5 sets, 15-8 in the 5th set. Of course, going on today, Rainy River, a couple more matches. They're already underway against Bismarck State at 9:30. They got started. They're out in Fergus Falls for that match, and then they play host Fergus Falls this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So the Voyagers getting their season well underway. Of course, 2 former Broncos playing for Rainy River in Isabella Edestead and Clara Palm. So a good local connection there as they get their season started. Of course, the Bass Championship going on. All 60 boats out on the water already this morning. Very interestingly enough, 5 choosing to go on the river today after just 2 yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how those 5 teams fare. Of course, the weigh-in scheduled to start 4 o'clock, but by the time they get everybody off the water and get everything started, it'll be about 4:15, 4:20. We'll have live coverage for you on K104 and rjbroadcasting.com. Don't forget, the Twins are going to be on the air. They start at 11:30 a.m. on K104, and the first pitch set for 12:07 after their 6-1 win over Toronto last night. Also going on, I got to make sure I got everything taken care of and see where we're at. Yeah, that takes care of today. And, of course, tomorrow, the Vikings, K104, 6 o'clock pregame, kickoff at 7 o'clock. Twins also on at 12:07 tomorrow. No local sports on Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday, International Falls Volleyball has their home opener against Northwoods. If you can't make it out on Wednesday night, we'll be there. Pregame to start at 6:45, opening serve right around 7 o'clock from the Falls High Gymnasium. Rainy River Volleyball, they'll have their first Northern Division match. They'll be down in Virginia to take on Masabi Range at 6:30. Thursday, another big day of local sports. The girls swimming and diving team, they are at home against Hibbing. Make sure you note the time change. You may have gotten one of the Falls High calendars. It may say 4:30 on it. I didn't remember to check that. The swim meet starts at 3 o'clock on Thursday, so make sure you have the change in time, a 3 o'clock start for the girls swimming and diving meet on Thursday. International Falls volleyball team right back at home on Thursday night as they take on Mountain Iron Buell, and the LBF Vikings volleyball team, they're at home against Northland. Both those matches start at 7 o'clock. On Friday, the Bronco football team on the road at Proctor will start at 6:40 with the pregame, and we'll have the opening kickoff right at 7 o'clock on K104. Don't forget about online, rjbroadcasting.com. That's the new website. You can still get there with ksdmradio.com, but the rjbroadcasting.com will save you just a few seconds if you start to use that. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings football team, they are also going to get their season started on 2017 season on Friday, and they will be playing host to Carleton. That game's set to start at 7 o'clock. Next weekend, wide open. It is Labor Day weekend, and then, of course, school starts, on Tuesday the 5th, and we'll have live volleyball for you that night as Little Fork Big Falls takes on Ely, and we will get that pregame started right around 6:45. It's going to wrap it up for our first show of 2017-2018. Glad to, again, thanks to my guests here. Thanks to everybody here at Hardee's for taking care of our guests. Thanks to Chad and Ryan back at the station pushing all the buttons. Hope things went well for you. But most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner. Live from Hardee's on K104 and online at RJ Broadcasting.